Priyavrata. So today's sloka is 5.1.11 to 13. Okay, Hare Krishna. So I request Shilpa Mataji to recite the sloka.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Sadar Pranam.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Mataji, can you scroll down the screen? I'll need the Sanskrit version, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Nibodhatate da Amritam Bravimi Masuyitum Devam Arsya Prameyam Vayam Bhavaste Tata Esha Maharshi Varham Sarve Vivasha Yasya Drishtam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, the translation. Shobha Mataji, can you please read the translation?
Hari Bol, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji's
Hare
translation by
Krishna.
His Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Translation 5.1.11. Lord Brahma, the Supreme Person within this universe, said, My dear Priyavrata, kindly hear attentively what I shall say to you. Do not be jealous of the Supreme Lord, who is beyond our experimental measurements. All of us, including Lord Shiva, your father, and the great sage Maharishi Narada, must carry out the order of the Supreme. We cannot deviate from his order. Haribol. Thank you, Prabhuji. Dandavat. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah. So Shobita Mataji, can you please read the purport?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Of
Hare
the
Krishna.
12 purport of the 12 purport by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Of the 12 great authorities in devotional service, 4, Lord Brahma himself, his son Narada, Swayambhuva Manu, and Lord Shiva were present before Priyavrata. They were accompanied by many other authoritative sages. Brahma first wanted to impress upon Priyavrata that although these great personalities are all authorities, they cannot possibly disobey the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is described in this verse as Deva, which means always glorious. The power, glory, and potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead can never be diminished. In the Isha Upanishad, the Lord is described as Apapa Vidha, which indicates that he is never affected by anything materially considered sinful. Similarly, Srimad Bhagavatam describes the Supreme Personality of Godhead as being so powerful that nothing we might consider abominable can affect him. An example sometimes given to explain the position of Supreme Lord is that of the sun, which evaporates urine from the earth but is never affected by contamination. The Supreme Lord can never be accused of doing anything wrong. When Lord Brahma went to induce Priyavrata to accept the responsibility for ruling the universe, he did not go whimsically. He was following the dictations of the Supreme Lord. Indeed, Brahma and other genuine authorities never do anything without his permission. The Supreme Lord is situated in everyone's heart. In the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, it is said, Tene Brahma Hridaya Ya Adi Kavaye. The Lord dictated Vedic knowledge to Brahma through his heart. The more the living entity is purified by devotional service, the more he comes in direct contact with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Tesham satata yuktanam bhajitam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yen mam upiyanti te. Those to those who are constantly devoted and worship me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Bhagavad Gita 10.10. Lord Brahma therefore had not come to Priyavrata by his own whims. Rather, it is understood that he had been ordered to persuade Priyavrata by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose activities cannot be understood by material senses and who is therefore described herein as Aprameya. Thus, Lord Brahma first advised Priyavrata to hear his words with attention and without envy. Why one is induced to perform certain acts uh, despite his desire to do something else is indicated herein. One cannot disobey the orders of the Supreme Lord, even if one is as powerful as Lord Shiva, Lord Brahma, Manu, or the great sage Narada. All these authorities are certainly very powerful, but they do not have the power to disobey the orders of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since Lord Brahma had come to Priyavrata in accordance with the orders of the Supreme Lord, he first wanted to dispel any suspicions that he might be acting as Priyavrata's enemy. Lord Brahma was following the orders of the Supreme Lord, and therefore it would be worthwhile for Priyavrata to accept Lord Brahma's order as the Lord desired. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So the background behind this chapter or a narrative is Parikshit Maharaj is questioning Sukadeva Goswami, like how is it possible Priyavrata, who is the son of Manu, Swayambhu Manu, initially he was accepting the brahmacharya, like he completely disengaged from the material world. He don't have any attachment. Then what made him to accept the kingdom? Then after that, like ruling the kingdom, then again like he goes into the sannyasa, correct? What made him like to relinquish the kingdom? So for that, Sukadeva Goswami is like explaining what made Priyavrata to move from the brahmacharya to the accepting the kingdom. So that is where like Lord Brahma, so out of 12 Mahajans, 4 Mahajans are present here, correct? Like Brahma himself, his son Narada, Swayambhu Manu, and the Lord Shiva. So they are like 4 Mahajans, like out of this 12 Mahajans, like 4 Mahajans are present in the place like where Brahma is instructing Priyavrata. So, and he is saying like you should not disobey the orders of the spiritual Supreme Lord. So, Supreme Lord given the task of like ruling the kingdom and like expanding the population like in this material world to your father Manu, Swayambhu Manu, and as his son, like father want the son to rule, so please like don't disobey the orders of the Supreme Lord as well as your father. So that is how he's influencing Priyavrata to rule the kingdom. So then the detail of the purport explaining like in the 10.10 te samsata yuktana bhajadam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam. So that buddhi been given by the Lord, correct? Like so today we predominantly will talk about the orders of like the Supreme Lord, what important things like we can learn and we can implement in our daily day-to-day life like from the Bhagavad Gita. So that also we will cover. So the next sloka 12, I request Sharmila Mataji to recite the sloka.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
न
Krishna.
तस्य कश्चित् तपसा विद्यया वा न योगवीर्येण मनीषया वा नैवार्थधर्मे परता स्वतो वा कृतं विहन्तुं तनुभृद् विभूयात्. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Next one is Hare Krishna. Translation: one cannot avoid the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not by the strength of severe austerities, an exalted Vedic education, or the power of mystic yoga, physical prowess, or intellectual activities. Nor can one use his power of religion, his material opulence, or any other means, either by himself or with the help of others, to defy the orders of the Supreme Lord. This is not possible for any living being, from Brahma down to the ant. So, like we saw in the previous sloka also, so no one can defy the orders of the Supreme Lord. Okay, not even possible from Lord Brahma to an ant. Okay, that is not possible at all. We have to obey the orders of the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord. We cannot defy or like disobey their orders. Okay, purport. I request Krishnamurti Prabhu to recite the purport.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranams Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I
Prabhu.
will read one para. Please entrust to others.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Purport by A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Prabhupada ki jai. In the Bodhakaranya Upanishad 38.9, Yajnavalkya says to Gargi, the daughter of Garga Muni, Etasya va akarasya va prasasane Gargi Surya Chandramasu Vidartu Titsataha. Am I right, Prabhuji?
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
My dear Gargi, everything is under the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even the sun, the moon, and other controllers and demigods like Lord Brahma and King Indra are all under his control. An ordinary human being or animal who has accepted a material body cannot go beyond the jurisdiction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead's control. A material body includes senses. However, the sense activities of so-called sense scientists who are trying to be free from God's law or the laws of the nature are useless. This is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 7.14. Mama Maya Duratyaya. It is impossible to surpass the control of material nature, for the Supreme Personality of Godhead is working behind it. Sometimes we are proud of our austerities, penances, and mystic yoga powers. But it is clearly stated herein that one cannot surpass the laws and directions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, either by dint of mystic power or scientific education or austerities and penances. It is impossible. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranams Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhu, yeah. The word Manishaya by intelligence is of special significance. Priyavrata might argue that Lord Brahma was requesting him to accept family life and the responsibility for ruling a kingdom, although Narada Muni had advised him not to enter the householder life and be entangled in material affairs. Whom to accept would be a puzzle for Priyavrata because both Lord Brahma and Narada Muni are authorities. Under the circumstances, the use of the word Manishya is very appropriate, for it indicates that since both Narada Muni and Lord Brahma are authorized to give instruction, Priyavrata should neglect neither of them, but should use his intelligence to follow the advice of both. To solve such dilemmas, Srila Rupa Goswami has given a very clear conception of intelligence. He says, Anasaktasya Vishayan Yadartham Upavinjataha Nirbandhaga Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchyate. Visayan, material affairs, should be accepted without attachment, and everything should be dovetailed with the service of the Lord. That is real intelligence, Manisa. Becoming a family man or a king in the material world is not harmful if one accepts everything for Krishna's service. That necessitates clear intelligence. Mayavadi philosophers say Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya. This material world is false and only the absolute truth is real. However, an intelligent devotee in the line of Lord Brahma and the great sage Narada, or in other words, in the Brahma Sampradaya, does not consider the world false. That which is created by the Supreme Personality of Godhead cannot be false, but using it for enjoyment is false. Everything is meant to be enjoyed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 5.29, Bhuktaram Yajnatapasam Sarva Loka Maheshwaram. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is the supreme proprietor and enjoyer, and therefore everything should be dovetailed for his enjoyment and service. Regardless of one's circumstances, favorable or unfavorable, one should use everything to serve the Supreme Lord. That is perfect way to use one's intelligence. So here very nicely, like Srila Prabhupada explained, so how Priyavrata got into a brahmacharya because of the instruction of the Narada Muni. Okay, now because of Brahma, he has to accept the position of a ruling the kingdom. So he neither neglect both of their instruction, and how he uses by using the intelligence. So though he is going to rule the kingdom, he is not going to be attached with the material desires, but he is doing as a duty to serve the Lord. So that is what Srila Prabhupada explaining here. Let's move to the last sloka for today. I request Silpa Mataji to recite the sloka.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu Sadat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Bhavaya nashaya cha karma kartum shokaya mohaya sada bhayaya sukhaya dukhaya cha deha yoga mukti mavyakta dvishtam janatang datte. Sorry, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Okay, fine, yeah. Translation. My dear Priyavrata, by the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, all living entities accept different types of bodies for birth and death, activity, lamentation, illusion, fear of future dangers, and happiness and distress. Purport by His Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Every living entity who has come to this material world has come here for material enjoyment, but according to his own karma activities, he must accept a certain type of body given to him by material nature under the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.27, Prakriti Kriyamanani Guna Karmani Sarvasaha. Everything is being done by Prakriti, material nature, under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Modern scientists do not know why there are varieties of bodies in 84 lakh species forms. The fact is that all these bodies are ordained for the living entities by the Supreme Personality of Godhead according to the living entities' desires. He gives the living entities freedom to act as they like, but on the other hand, they must accept a body according to the reactions of their activities. Thus, there are different types of bodies. Some living entities have short durations of life, whereas other live for fantastic durations. Every one of them, however, from Brahma down to the ant, acts according to the direction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is sitting in everyone's heart, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Sarvasya Chagam, Radhisanya Vishnu, Mata Smriti Jnanam, Apohanam Cha. I am seated in everyone's heart, and from me come remembrance, knowledge, and forgetfulness. It is not a fact, however, that the Supreme Personality of Godhead gives direction to certain living entities in one way and the other living entities in another way. The truth is that every living entity has a certain desire, and the Supreme Lord gives him a chance to fulfill it. The best course, therefore, is to surrender unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead and act according to his desire. One who does so is liberated. Hare Krishna. So here he's saying like a Lord is giving the opportunity for everyone in a similar manner, but how we grab that opportunity and make use of it, that differentiate. Like, okay, so as a teacher teaches the same way. For example, like a max teacher is teaching algorithm or any sum the same manner to all the students. If some students have like a further queries and they have inquisitiveness or interest to learn further, they approach the teacher and the teacher further explains like the same sum to that particular student. It doesn't mean that, okay, the teacher discriminate that student compared to other student, correct? The similar manner, Lord is equal to everyone. If someone surrenders, like, okay, and trying to move further or like a progress further, for him, he will give like a more opportunity, more knowledge. So that doesn't mean that like a Lord is discriminating. So that is very, very important. So this word like we covered in the sloka. So Hare Krishna, let me just share my screen, the presentation. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottam Devim Saraswatim Vyas Tato Jayamudiraye Nashtraprayeshu Abhaddesham Nityam Bhagavata Sevya Bhagavati Uttama Sloki Bhakti Ramati Nashtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Chananda Bhamaraya Govinda. Hare Krishna. Once again, I thank the opportunity given here to seek the blessings of all the assembled Vaishnavas and Vaishnavis. So we have seen the activities of Maharaj Priyavarta in the 5.1 11 to 13 sloka. So the important thing is like in these 3 slokas and this chapter is we must carry out the order of the Supreme. So that is what Brahma received from Krishna, and Brahma instructing that to Priyavarta to influence him to like rule the kingdom. So as we have seen multiple times, like Srimad Bhagavatam is Lord Krishna's transcendental body. So from Canto 1 to 12, like what are the various transcendental body parts like it represents. So in that, like we are in the 5th canto, where 5th canto is representing the navel of the body of Krishna, and which is talking predominantly the sthana, the geography of the universe, the description of Bhumandal and the structure of the universe being explained here. Okay. So the layered conversation, like what are the various time, like the Srimad Bhagavatam being spoken, Lord Krishna to Brahma in the Chatusloki, from then Brahma to Narada, Narada speaking to Vyasadeva in the banks of Saraswati, and Vyasadeva speaking to Sukadeva Goswami, Sukadeva Goswami speaking to Parikshit Maharaj and receives with Suta Goswami. Then Suta Goswami, like speaking to sages headed by Shaunaka Rishi on the banks of Gomati River, Naimisharanya, and Vaishampayana narrating to King Janamejaya, and like with the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, the Srimad Bhagavatam being spoken like all over the universe in various ISKCON temples and center. Hare Krishna. So why we need to hear Srimad Bhagavatam? Because Shanvadam Swakada Krishnaka, Punya Shravana Kirtanaka, Hridiyantastohi Abhadrani, Vidunodi Sugur Sadam. So it cleanses the desire for material enjoyment, and for whomsoever who has the urge to desire, okay, urge to hear his message. Then simply by giving the oral receptions, like a feeling for loving devotion service will sprout in our heart, and it will extinguish the fire of lamentation, illusion, and fearfulness. And Krishna will be manifested in the hearts of whomsoever they want to hear. And what is in it for me? It is about these pastimes are performed to attract the people from the material planet to go back to the spiritual planet, because it reminds us to remember Krishna. We need to appreciate and get attracted, to aspire to attain the lotus feet of the Lord. Okay, we need to realize the Krishna consciousness by using the real eyes of the spiritual master and the Supreme Lord. Okay, so these are various energies of the Lord. We have to keep reminding ourselves whenever we see a sun or moon or any tree or any beautiful thing. It is nothing but the energy of the Lord. It is the creation by the Lord. So that we have to remember. And as we have seen, Swayambhu Manu's dynasty been explained from 3rd canto 21st chapter till 5th canto 15th chapter. So Swayambhu Manu is son of Lord Brahma, and he has 3 daughters and 2 sons. Daughters are Devahuti, Akuti, and Prasuti. We have covered till 4.1.7. Then he has 2 sons Uttanapada's lineage, Dhruva Maharaj, Prithu, and Prachetas, and Barhisat. Okay, so all their pastimes been already covered. Then now we are seeing the another son's lineage, a Priyavarta. So from him, the son is Nabi and Rishabhadev, Bharata Maharaj pastime, all those things will be coming in this 5th canto. So Swayambhu Manu's dynasty only been explained from 3rd canto to 5th canto. So this is the family tree of a Swayambhu Manu. So we see Akuti, Prasuti, and Devahuti. So and Uttanapada and Priyavarta's lineage. So in that, a Priyavarta had 1 daughter, and he had 13 sons. The daughter married to a Devyani, and Devyani married to Yayati, and that is the descendants will come. And out of 13 sons, he had 2 wives, Priyavarta. The 13 sons are 3 became sannyasi, 3 became a Manus, and 7 became to rule the 7 island which he created. In that, the first son name is Agnidhara. Agnidhara's the first son is King Nabi, and Nabi's first son is Rishabhadev, and his son is Bharata Maharaj. So that is how the whole lineage will come, which will be explained in the 5th canto. So let's see, a 5th canto, what in the whole summary. So Priyavarta's pastime been explained, then his sons Agnidhara's pastime, then his son King Nabi's pastime, then his son Rishabhadev's pastime been mentioned, then his son Bharata Maharaj pastime been mentioned. Then Bharata Maharaj in the next life he become the deer, then the next life he become the Jadabharat, and this is how the whole dynasty of Priyavarta been explained in 5th canto. Then Jambutipa also the structure and how it is being placed, and the whole universe and the placement of Bhumandal been explained further in the chapter 20th to 26th chapter in this 5th canto. So this we have already seen. Canto 3, 4, 5, what are the things it is explaining. So that in this particular chapter, the activities of Maharaj Priyavarta, Sloka 1 to 4, explaining about Parishit questions about Priyavarta, how he was detached, then he is accepting to rule the kingdom, then he is becoming detached again. Then the glory of devotion service been explained by Sukadeva Goswami. Then he is giving the reasons Brahma's reasons for convincing Priyavrata, like how he is convincing Priyavrata by mentioning, okay, the orders of the Supreme Lord cannot be disobeyed. Like, okay, so you have to follow to rule the kingdom of your father. Then Priyavrata's rule, like how he was ruling, and the dissonance and activities been explained. Then Priyavrata's repentance and like a renunciation, how he is getting renunciation, like from relinquishing the kingdom. So that has been explained, the whole of this chapter. So again, like this the same thing, why Priyavrata remained in household life. Then Mukta Sanghas cannot be absorbed in family life. Like, okay, so he was thinking, okay, I don't want to just follow the material attachment. So I am okay to be in this the brahmacharya life. How did the attached Priyavrata, how did the attached Priyavrata achievable infallible perfection? Like, okay, so after he accepting the ruling the kingdom, how he was like still able to attain the perfection. Like these are the questions by Parikshit Maharaj. Then these are how these obstacles like cannot obstruct the absorption. That is what like a main question of Parikshit Maharaj. How even while ruling the kingdom, he was so detached and he was able to perform bhakti. So initially, like a Priyavrata, so the lotus feet of Narada, then engaged in Krishna Katha. Then later, like once Brahma ji associates like a descendant of in the Gandhamadena hill. Okay, the Brahma spoke to Priyavrata with smile and compassion, like how to rule the kingdom. So which we have seen from 11 to 13. Don't deviate from Lord's order. Even Shiva, Manu, Narada must follow. One cannot avoid Lord's order by any means, like austerities or anything and everything. Like we cannot disobey the orders of the Supreme Lord. Then how jivas accept the body by the Lord's order, like how each one getting the material body and what is our roles and responsibilities being explained in detail in Srimad Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, correct? Like I may be a worker in one of the company, like or employee in one of the company. Another one Mataji might be like, okay, the to do like the household activity. Likewise, like each one has the responsibility and the activity is defined by the Lord. So that I should not question, okay, why I can't do the household work, or the Mataji cannot say that, okay, why I can't go for the office work. So it is based upon our activities, previous activities, karma, then based upon our current how we live our life. Like, okay, so all those things decides what life we have to take, what body we have to achieve, like okay, what body we will get. So all those things like have been derived from the activities we did in past and the activities which we are doing currently. Okay, all are bound by duties of varnashrama dharma. So varna and ashrama, like which we all know. So because of the guna and karma, correct? Varna ashrama, it is not by birth, but it is based upon the guna and karma. We accept happiness and distress given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead with faith. Even liberated persons like enjoy and suffers karma. So from Lord Brahma to ant, like everyone goes through this karma. Like that is the uniqueness of this material world. No one can get away from the birth, death, old age, and disease. Correct. Household life cannot harm the sense control. Even if you see, the best way to practice bhakti is by this household life, because here we get the opportunity to enjoy, but at the same time we get the opportunity to renunciate also. Correct? We have the opportunity to do the sense control. So how we can conquer the mind and senses in the household life? By surrendering to the Lord, by everything like a docile to the Lord. Then seek shelter of Lord's lotus feet and conquer the senses. So further it goes like Priyavrata carried out the order of Brahma. Brahma returns to Satyaloka. Then Manu becomes happy because like Priyavrata accepting to rule the kingdom. Then Priyavrata rules like engaged in worldly affairs, yet thought like Lord's lotus feet, because always like associated with the Lord's lotus feet. And Priyavarta with Barhishmati, like a first wife, he begot like 10 sons. In that, 3 celibate sons like Kavi, Mahavira, and Savana, like they take sannyasa. Then Priyavarta with the second wife like Uttama, Tamasa, and Raivata, they become like a Manus of 3rd, 4th, and 5th Manvantras. So Priyavarta ruled for 11 Arbuda years, like he appeared to be lost in Barhimasi's association. Then he was little dissatisfied like with the sun's movement. Okay, how sun was like giving the heat and light at one part of the universe, and the other part of like the orbit or the other portion, it is becoming darkness. Like so, he was chasing the sun and the chariot like impressions. So he created with his chariot like he created around like 7 oceans, and that impressions like he created 7 islands. So his 7 sons became their rulers, like of those 7 islands, like starting from Agnidhara, correct? So that is how. Then via the Sukracharya, like he begat the daughter of like Devyani. Then the whole thing, like a devotee's power is not astonishing. So he was start realizing like how he can disengage himself like from the material activities and the kingdom. So then he slowly he could able to understand, okay, I am getting entangled in the material activities. Then he is slowly like giving a relinquishing like his material activities and ruling the kingdom, and he is surrendering all those tasks like to his son, and he is getting detached from the material world. So that is what like been explained the rest of the slokas. So let us take the point of like, okay, we must carry the orders of the Supreme Lord, correct? How we can do it like in our day-to-day life. So we all know like Krishna himself present in the battlefield of Kurukshetra and instructing Arjuna when Arjuna was put into the condition of like, okay, confused condition, correct? Or confused situation. So he's explaining the Bhagavad Gita, right? So the Bhagavad Gita is not explained only to Arjuna, but every one of us. Why Arjuna? Because Arjuna was being used as a nimitta matram, like okay, he was used as an instrument, correct? So how he was instructing or giving the instructions to Arjuna how to live the life, how to take care of like okay, how to surrender the activities to the Lord, how to surrender the results to the Lord. So we all gone through many of this sloka, whatever we are covering, like okay, in many ways, like in our daily life, but how we can apply what the leaf we can take out from these slokas, that is what like okay, we are going to cover. Then little bit of like as we are approaching the Gaura Purnima, little bit of Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji's pastime we will cover in the next 30 minutes or so. So this particular slokas, whatever we are referring, like okay, from the Bhagavad Gita, it has been inspired by my Shiksha Guru, His Grace Jagajiva Jagannath Prabhu from Damodar Desh, Dubai. So he influenced like okay, me and many of the devotees over here how to by practicing all these slokas, like we can get connected with Krishna. So this his personal experience, and there are many other slokas like which will influence many, but we are covering like only some of the sloka which is related to our work and how the karma, like okay, how we can do better work, like okay, and how we can apply ourselves fully into those work. Okay, that is what we are going to cover in a very quick manner. So the first sloka is very important to do any activity, any work, because we all know, okay, we have to work something, okay, be it at home or office or our company or extra, like we have to do the work, correct? Because it has to we have to explore what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So in 2.47, he says like a karma nevadhikarasya ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala heturbur mate sangotva karmani. You have a right to perform your prescribed duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. If any non-devotee or like, okay, who doesn't follow Krishna consciousness, they'll say, okay, I do the work, but I am not entitled to the fruits of action. And he will say like, it is absurd, correct? But only with the Krishna consciousness mentality, we can understand what Krishna says. Okay, you have a right to perform your duty, but you are not entitled to the fruits of action. Never consider yourself the cause of results of your activities, and never be attached to not doing your duty. Because I'm not going to get the result, or I'm not going to be attached to the fruits of action, I will not do the work. Like that also should not be our mentality. And never consider yourself the cause of results of your activity. If you do some work like others appreciate, never consider yourself like, okay, because of me this task being done, I am the reason for this task like gets successful completion, correct? Because the results of action only good? No, it may be good or bad or both, correct? So if we get attached to the good result, then we become like a greed, we become pride, and like our anxiety will increase, correct? So the reason Krishna says we should not have any attachment to the good result, or like should not have any attachment to the result at all. So fear of bad result. What happens if bad result comes? Then our hesitation will increase, our inaction will increase. Okay, because I did that work and it didn't succeed. Okay, let me not do the work at all. Correct? The inaction. That is what inaction. Not acting at all. So that should not be there. So we have to do our duty. Whatever duty we perform, like we have to give our 100%, because we got this opportunity to do this activity by the will of the Lord. Lord sanctions, okay, you have to do this duty. So we have to do with full attention and full conviction, and we have to surrender those results to Lord. Because if we attach to the result, then we will get like this punarapi jananam, punarapi maranam, like we will get entangled in this material world. Okay, how we can practically apply in this 2.47? We'll not be able to immediately or entirely give up the fruits of our action. Slowly and gradually, like we have to do this particular thing. So it should not be artificial, but it has to be natural. Okay, let me do the work. Okay, I will give my 100% effort. Whatever result comes, it is because of Krishna. Okay, some action we may fail, but we will say to Krishna, Krishna, you want me to learn something from this failure? Let me learn, and let me do like in the better manner in the next time. So that is how we have to keep learning from every one of our activity, and we have to surrender the results. We have to get detached to the result. Okay, because the good result momentarily, like we may get happiness if we do complete like some activity in a perfect manner, but that momentary happiness, like we have to get away from there, and we have to thank Krishna and pass the fall, whatever like the fruits of action to Krishna. So we must do duty, because what important point like Krishna stress here is, Krishna is not asking us to abandon the responsibility. He asks us to abandon the proprietorship. Like we should not get attached to the results of the action. He is by having that detachment, we should not say that, okay, I am not responsible. My responsibility, I should not get like attached to the responsibility. No, Krishna never says like, hey, don't be responsible. He always say responsible, but he asking us to abandon the proprietorship, like a very, very important thing. So then this is the 2.47 is talking about like how to apply, correct? How to do the work. But the method to apply is being mentioned by Krishna in the 3.30. Mai sarvani karmani sanyas adhyatma chetasaha nirasir nirmamo bhuto yuddha yasa vigada chora. So in this purport, like Srila Prabhupada mentioning, this is a purpose of Bhagavad Gita. So if anyone asks like, hey, why we are reading Bhagavad Gita, what is the purpose of Bhagavad Gita? So this sloka talks about the purpose of Bhagavad Gita, because from the 2.7, which Arjuna is surrendering to Krishna Karpanya Doso, so then all the other things like hey, Krishna is speaking, then in the first 3.30 only, he is asking Arjuna to fight, okay. My sarvani karmani. Therefore, O Arjuna, surrendering all your works unto me, with full knowledge of me, without desires for profit, with no claims to proprietorship, and free from lethargy, please fight, okay. So this are like a Krishna is asking Arjuna to fight. So 2.47 gives the principle what has to be the what we have to do in our life, correct? But 3.30 gives the method how we have to do. Offer the work to Krishna before we offer it to our ego, because here he's saying surrendering all your works unto me with full knowledge. How to do? Method. It is like a full knowledge without any desires for proprietorship and with no claims to proprietorship and free from lethargy. Don't do any work like with lethargy. You do it with full courage. So that is the method. Krishna says in 3.30, the principle of the work being mentioned in the 2.47. Okay, so 3.30 again, like it is saying, purpose of the Bhagavad Gita. So very, very important, because we all know like a Bhagavad Gita is nothing but the song of the Lord Krishna, explaining the instruction of how to live, how to work, like how to lead our life to Arjuna and every one of us. Correct? So again, like okay, the important thing is we know how to what is the principle of work. We know how to apply, but sometime many a times we will not get the chance to apply. So at the time we seek the guidance. We seek like a surrenderness to the Lord. We have to first we have to surrender to the Lord. Like a seeking guidance is the first victory. So 8.7, so 2.7, Karpanya Doso Bhagata Swabhava. So that also like hey, applies the method of seeking guidance. But 8.7 is explaining us like hey, encouragement, like okay, and hope to move on. How we can apply this 2.47 and 3.30. How we can apply. That is being mentioned in this Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu. So not whenever we are free or whenever we desire. No. It is Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu Mam Anusmara Yudhyacha Mai Arpita Mano Buddhir Mamevai Sasi Asamseha. Therefore, Arjuna, you should always think of me in the form of Krishna. Very important. Thinking about the Lord in the form of Krishna is so important. You should always think of me in the form of Krishna, and at the same time carry out your prescribed duty of fighting. So for Arjuna, it is a duty of fighting. For us, it may be like hey, the kitchen work, or it may be like a office work, or it may be like a house task, anything and everything. Like hey, so at the time we have to think about Krishna with your activities dedicated to me and your mind and intelligence fixed on me, you will attain me without doubt. Like okay, that's how Krishna is giving the assurance as how to come to him, like okay, by his activity, our activities dedicated and the mind and intelligence fixed on him. Like okay, so this another thing. So 2.47 in the purport, like there is a mention of salvation of as goal. Okay, cessation from the suffering, how we can do the activity. But the method being mentioned in the purpose, there is mention of the method, like hey, by doing that method 3.30, my sarvani karmani, then we can go to the Lord. Like okay, we can reach the Lord, we can make Lord happy. And in 8.7, we find the path to attain Krishna. Again, like in the 8.7 also, he's saying like you will come to me without fail, correct? Tasmat Sarveshu College, when you think about me and when you do the work like as prescribed, whatever work you do, like at the time, think about me, then you will come to me. So 2.47 taught us the importance of doing duty and a basic prerequisite. And 3.30 taught us like a method of achieving detachment. Okay, because he's saying like a free from lethargy, stand up and fight, correct? And in the 8.7 trained us remembrance while acting, so that the detachment will automatically come. Like okay, because when we how the attachment will come, like when we have the material desires and etc., correct? But when we think about Krishna, all those things like a Cheto Darpana Marjanam, Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam, slowly all those things like a will be removed from our heart, and we don't have any attachment to the material world. So till now we have seen 2.47, 3.30 and 8.7. Okay, fine, 8.7 we have seen, but sometime we know like we have to surrender, but we are unable to guide our mind and intelligence, like okay, how to surrender. Then we can apply this sloka, which is 9.27. Sometime like we may do the activity, we may relinquish the results of the action like to Krishna, but how to do that like as a practice in every of the activity. So that is being mentioned in 9.27, where Krishna says, Yat karoshi yat dasnasi yat jugosi tadasyat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tatkurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kundi, as an offering to me. So that is the duty of everyone, to mold his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in any circumstances. Okay, so if we, what is the benefit of like learning all these sloka? Because this will help us to lead the life in a perfect manner as described, as suggested by Krishna. Correct? That is the practical way we can remember this sloka, and we can apply how to lead our life in the way like a Krishna described, or like a Krishna asked us to lead the life. Correct? Everyone has to work for maintenance of his body and soul together, and Krishna recommends herein that one should work for him. Because why we have to surrender the results to Lord? Does Lord need any of our results? No. Lord is self-sufficient, correct? Like okay, he is the possessor, and like okay, he is the proprietor of everything. Bhoktaram Yagnatapasam, correct? Like he from him like we got all these things. But why he is asking all these things to do? Because by doing this only we can reach him. That is the reason, like he is saying, Yat Koroshi, whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, Jana, O son of Kundi, as an offering to me perform, then you will come to me. Okay. If 8.7 is to remember Krishna while doing duty, then 9.27 is to make the duty itself as an offering. So in 8.7, he says, Tasmat Sarveshu Kaleshu. So remember me all the time, correct? Like and doing the work in the form of Krishna. But here he says, whatever you do it as an offering to me. Then it is like easy for us, whatever activity we are doing, keep Krishna in the center. Correct? So the transition of maturity from 2.47, which is like asking, explaining about the prescription of the duty, prescribed duty, and 3.30, which is talking about detachment, the method while doing the duty. Then 8.7 like a surrender while doing the duty, and 9.27, which is confluence of all to make of whatever offering, like whatever we do as an offering to Krishna. So these 4 slokas we covered now. Another couple of slokas are there. Okay, fine. Now we know the purpose of Bhagavad Gita is 3.30, correct? Now I know, okay, I need to do the activity, but it is not about me alone doing the activity. I have to deal with many people, correct? How I can concentrate on Krishna, and my focus to others, like okay, are many mundane things in the society will become like a less important, and Krishna is more important. So how I can apply that principle? Because many a times like our many of the problems in our life comes in how to deal with the people, correct? That is what been mentioned in the 11.55, which is again explained as a essence of Bhagavad Gita. So purpose of Bhagavad Gita is 3.30. Essence of Bhagavad Gita being explained in this 11.55, which is talking about mat karma krin mat paramo mat bhakta sangha varjidaga nirvairaga sarva bhuteshu yasamam eti pandava. So we still need guidance to practically apply the learnings in the consistent way. My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotion service, free from contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, who makes me the supreme goal of life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me. Friendly to every being, like, okay, that is very important, because that is the reason Srila Prabhupada says, this is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. If we know the purpose and are not doing the purpose, then we can't achieve Krishna, correct? Like we need to know the essence of Bhagavad Gita also. So that is how we have to, how to deal with the people will be mentioned. Okay, many a times we will get into the problem of like, okay, dealing with people. If we don't like someone, and rather than like having fight with them, we can move away from them, and we can concentrate more of our time to do the devotional service. Okay, we may see we may see them as a friend, but they may not see like as a friend, and they will try to increase our enmity, or increase the issues like created. So rather than focusing on those things, like let's move away, forget sometime, like you forget about that incident, or like forgive that that person and move on. By doing that, we can spend our valuable time in devotional service. Okay, so 6.3, like okay, which is culminating with this particular the slokas, like culminating with the 6.30, which is where like we can see Krishna in every of the living entity, correct? Like yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati tasyaham na pranasyami sachamena pranashyati. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Okay, so nothing can exist without Krishna, and Krishna is the Lord of everything. That is the basic principles of Krishna consciousness. So by doing this, we will not have any enmity with anyone, correct? Like because we don't see them as a person, we see as a representation of Krishna. Okay, so this very important sloka, because if we want to have if we want to achieve the kingdom, or if we want to achieve the lotus feet of Krishna, then we have to respect everyone and don't expect the respect from anyone. So by doing that, like how we can do that? By applying this particular principle, like okay, yomam pashyati sarvatra sarvam cha mai pashyati. So see Krishna in every one of them. Okay, there's a series of sloka which will help. There are, as I mentioned, there's only like a part of the slokas which we taken from Prabhuji's experience, like which he applied, and he is able to successfully like okay lead his life both in personally and professionally. So that is the reason like I thought how we can carry out the orders of the Supreme Lord, which been explained in Bhagavad Gita in many of the slokas. There may be many other slokas like which may be favorite for many, because Bhagavad Gita every sloka is important, but these are the slokas where which we can remember every day. For example, before you start like okay any work, just to see why we are doing this work, like karmanevadikarase, how to do that particular thing. Like I need to think about Krishna. Okay, and I have to surrender the results to Krishna. So then like okay 3.30, then 8.7, tasmat sarveshu kaleshu, I need to remember Krishna in the form of Krishna, then do the work. Okay, then 9.27, how I can surrender everything, like a yatkaroshi yadasnasu. Then how I can deal with the people, like a mat karma kran mat paramo. Then yomam pashyati sarvatra. So these are the series of sloka. In a quick span of time, like we can remember and perform any duty. Then we get the opportunity to please Krishna, to go back to Krishna. Okay, Hare Krishna. So this is completing one part of our activity. The other part is how we can get empowerment from Krishna. For example, I have a daughter, okay, who is 7 years old. I love her very much, like Krishna loves every one of us. But when the trust will develop, because the 7-year-old daughter immediately asking, "Can you please give me your car key? I want to drive the car." Can I get the trust and responsibility from her? Will I hand over the key to her? No, because I know that I don't have the trust on her. though I love her very much, I don't have the trust, because that trust has to develop over a period of time. When the maturity comes and when she is able to take the responsibility, then only Krishna can empower. Then only I can give her the car to drive, correct? Like first she has to get the license, and she has to achieve that particular like a threshold of 18 years age. Then only we can, the trust will be established. Then only we can think, okay, the responsibility, she can take the responsibility. Then only like empowerment will come. That is the same way Krishna Seva, and Krishna will empower his devotee when we have the lust. Then we have to, he has to have the trust on us. Like for that, we have to keep on doing the devotional service and his instruction. Then when we are about to take the responsibility, he will be able to empower us. Like these four things are very, very important. The practical life, like we can apply. And by doing that, like in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it has been mentioned, the devotee of the Lord can deliver the whole universe, correct? It is not the devotee who is going to deliver, it is Krishna who is empowering the devotee to deliver the universe, correct? Like because by the will of the Lord, he will be the instrument in Lord's hand, and he will be able to get the chance to deliver the whole universe. As how Srila Prabhupada like delivered many of us, like not delivered, like he is giving the opportunity for us to get delivered. If we practice that like in a perfect manner, we will be able to get delivered like from this particular material world. Okay, so Srimati Radharani is a great enjoyer than Krishna, because she enjoys serving Krishna. Okay, so Krishna himself want to experience that enjoyment. That is the reason like he take the avatar of like a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to experience how Srimati Radharani is experiencing in serving Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is nothing but Krishna, but in the mood of Srimati Radharani. So Krishna missing himself, he forgot himself, and he want to experience the love of like a Srimati Radharani's mood, in the mood of like a Srimati Radharani. So that is how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu takes the appearance. Correct? So there is a slight pastime. So when Krishna was in Dwaraka, the residents of Vrindavana was very deprivated, like they want to see Krishna. So at the time, like Krishna himself not going to Vrindavan, and Krishna is going to, Krishna is sending first Uddhava to Vrindavan, and Uddhava is assuring that, okay, after I leave Vrindavan, like I will bring Krishna here. But he is unable to bring Krishna. So at that time, like after visiting Vrindavan, Uddhava is saying to Krishna, you need to visit Vrindavan. But rather than him going, like Krishna is sending Balram to Vrindavan. So after visiting Balram visiting Vrindavan, and Vrindavan, he is assuring that, okay, I will ensure that I will bring Krishna to Vrindavan. But gopis are like not accepting, and gopis are saying, okay, no, this is the same way like Uddhava also said, but Uddhava couldn't able to bring Krishna. The same manner, like we don't trust Krishna, and Krishna is not going to come. But Balram giving various reasons. I think like the residents of Vrindavana is going to do the, they may commit suicide, and so you have to visit urgently. Like then Krishna is saying like how and all they can suicide? Why they are not not taking the effort to do the suicide? Like then Balram saying, because they don't have the opportunity. Then Krishna says, why can't they jump from Govardhan hill? Then Balram says, no. Balram says, no, Govardhan hill, like without seeing you, it becomes like so low, and even a baby can jump from there, and so no one can commit suicide. Then he's saying like why they can't, they cannot like drink the poisonous water from Kalia lake. Then Balram says, no, because you already purified the Kalia lake by touching your lotus feet. Because of that, like they can't. There is no poisonous like from the Kalia lake. Then he's saying like why can't they jump into the Yamuna river? Balram says, okay, without seeing you, Yamuna river almost like dried, So there is no water, so there is no possibility of jumping from Yamuna river. Then Balram says there is one possibility, because the Vrindavana forest didn't see you. It may catch fire anytime because it is dried up so much. So the residents of Vrindavana can go to that forest fire and they may commit suicide. By hearing this, Krishna getting fainted, correct? This is the Krishna Leela pastime, correct? So the same Krishna coming as in the mood of Srimati Radharani in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he want to visit Vrindavan, okay, from the Jagannath Puri, and he's getting so many distraction or so many impediments, because Swarupa Damodara Goswami, then Lord Nityananda stopping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to go from Puri to Vrindavan. Then Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and Ramananda Rai also saying that no, you should not visit Vrindavan now. Okay. Then Advaita Acharya is stopping because he wanted to come along with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. No, then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, no, you have to take care of the Gopinath and you can't come with me. Then on the passage, he's seeing he's meeting Rupa and Sanatana Goswami in Ramkeli, and there they say King Nawab is giving so many problems, so this is not the ideal time to visit. So likewise, he around 35 years of his life, he never visited Vrindavan. Then after some time, then via the Jarikan forest, he's visiting Vrindavan. Finally, he got a chance to visit Vrindavan. Okay, so then he is feeling the mood of separation of Srimati Radharani from Krishna. Via that mood, via the Srimati Radharani's mood, Krishna is experiencing as a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Srimati Radharani, the separation of the gopis from Krishna in the previous pastime, correct? So this is a little difficult to understand, but if you put your heart and soul, you will be able to understand. So during that time, in the forest of Vrindavan, the male parrot and female parrot, the male parrot name is Sukha, and the female parrot is a Sarika. They are describing the glories of Radha and Krishna. So first, the Sukha singing, the male parrot singing the glories of Sri Krishna is coming in Madhya Leela, Chaitanya Charitamrita 17.210. In that, Saundaryam Lalali Dhairya Dalanam Leela Ramastambini Viryam Kandu Kitari Varyam Amalaha Pare Parardam Gunahi Seelam Sarva Janam Aho Yashayam Ashmat Prabhor Vishwam Vishwajanina Kirte Ravatat Krishno Jagan Mohanaha. So here the Sukha parrot is explaining the 6 qualities of Krishna, which is Saundaryam, which is beauty, his Leela pastimes, Viryam, his bodily strength, as if he lifted the Govardhan hill in a very, very easy manner, correct? In a small toy like a ball. And Pare Parardam, he has unlimited qualities. He has a Sheelam, which is his behavior and characters a very, very excellent. And Kirtir, his glorification is always enchanting. So this is how a male parrot is singing the glories of Lord Krishna. But then the beauty of Srimati Radharani being explained by the female parrot Sarika, singing the glories of Srimati Radharani. Shri Radhikaya Priyata Surupata Silata Narthana Gana Chaturi Gunali Sambat Kavita Charajate Jagan Mano Mohana Chitta Mohini. The female parrot said Srimati Radharani's affection, her excessive beauty and good behavior, her artistic dancing and chanting, and her poetic compositions are all so attractive that they attract the mind of Krishna, who attracts the mind of everyone in the universe. So, female parrot is singing, okay, your Krishna is great, but my Radharani is greatest because she has the control. She has the power to even control Krishna. So, earlier sloka, it is Vishwam Vishwajanaina Kirtir Avatat Krishna Jagan Mohanaha. Okay, but here it says Jagan Mano Mohana Chitta Mohini. So the Jagan Mano Mohana is under the guidance or like under the control of Srimati Radharani. That has been explained here. So very nicely, like this is how the female and the male parrot keep on singing the glories of Radha and Krishna. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, hearing this, he goes into ecstasy, like while he visiting Vrindavana. So why we hear all these things? Because we have to get attracted. What is the reason for Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji's the appearance, and we have to develop our mood to approach the Chaitanya Mahaprabhuji's like a Sankirtana Yajna moment in every day of our life. And the Krishna's instruction in the Bhagavad Gita also has to be like experience, and like we have to apply in every day of our life. So this is what I just want to cover. So again, we have to develop the intense greed to obtain Krishna Rasabhavita Bhagavad. Then these are the takeaways, like offer the work to Krishna before we offer it to ego. So our journey with Bhagavad Gita, these are the some slokas which we can try to refer and try to remember every day. So you can add your own slokas also. And the purpose of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance, we have to understand Krishna missing himself and experience the love in the mood of Srimati Radharani. And we can get the empowerment once we have the love, trust, and the responsibility towards the Lord. And other things like already been covered. So thanks for giving the opportunity.
Hare
We have
Krishna,
to
Prabhuji.
Nirantar. Yes,
Hare Krishna,
Mataji, Hare
Prabhuji, can
Krishna.
I see the previous slide, Prabhuji? The
Yeah,
previous,
Mataji, Hare Krishna.
no, the one before that. One before that.
Yeah,
Yes,
Hare
yes.
Krishna.
1 minute, Prabhuji. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
So thanks for giving me the opportunity. So if I spoke anything wrong, please it is due to my ignorance. If you find anything good, please it is due to all the glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the great acharyas. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Devotees,
Krishna.
anybody has any questions? You can please raise your hands. Hare Krishna. Your class was so beautiful, Prabhuji. With beautiful. Prabhuji, can you send the PPT to Narayani Mataji?
I'll send, Maji. I'll send. Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji. The Bhagavad Gita shlokas gradually, how you explained, was beautiful, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so
Yeah.
much. Hare
All
Krishna.
glories to Srila Prabhupada.
All
Yeah.
glories to Srila Prabhupada. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha
Kripa
kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Granthiraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai. Hare
Hari
Krishna.
bol, Hari bol. Hare Krishna. Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Can I end the class with your
Thank you,
permission, Prabhu?
Yeah,
Hare
sure, Maji. Thanks a lot. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna. Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna to all.